all these officers have in common? They are human beings. Hear that? Human beings. They are husbands, wives, fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, grandparents, etc. These officers are part of the fabric of the communities they live in and work. We are neighbors, we are friends, we are coaches, we are members of the PTA, members of the school board, and continuing to give back to their communities. The only difference between the general public and law enforcement officers is that we as law enforcement officers, we put on a uniform and a badge and go to work to protect and serve our communities. At the end of our shift of tour, we are just like every other human being, hoping to get home to our families. Thank you. Right now, give me a minute. My things got blown around and I'm missing the, thank you. Sorry about that, folks. The wind blew my, okay, here we go. Thank you, sorry. All right, back to it. Michael, need that?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, bubbles bursting in air, came through the night, and our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you much. Thank you to my Blue family. I am proud to lead this county, and I'm proud to be part of that Blue family. I offer you one thing that you need more than anything else nowadays: the unequivocal support in word, action, and deed from a top elected official in Rockland County forever. Today I speak from experience, not from politics. I was a beat cop from Washington Heights to Harlem, off to the Bronx I went. Some tough neighborhoods. I got to rise in the ranks. I saw an awful lot. I saw law enforcement men and women put their lives on the line each and every day. I saw too many funerals, way too many funerals, as was mentioned earlier. Anybody who's been to a police funeral knows Amazing Grace. It runs chills right through you. Cops say goodbye each and every day to their spouses, their kids, their families, not knowing if they will ever come home. Special acknowledgement to those families today. You are not thanked enough for your bravery, yes, bravery, and your sacrifice. Let's give the families a round of applause. I also want to take a moment, it's a fitting time to take a moment to remember two Orangetown police heroes. Police Officer Michael Reedy and Police Officer Tom Kennedy, who were killed 47 years ago today in the line of duty. The question is often asked, why do cops sign on? Is it for the money? I don't think so. The prestige, if you watch TV lately? The wonderful hours, those hours will take away your holidays, birthdays, the kids' times at playing ball. It's not that either. It's a very simple thing. It's very straightforward. They want to help people. They believe making communities a better place. They want to make a difference. That is the driving force to become a cop. I wish more people would understand that. It's as simple and straightforward as that. What they do, they protect and serve. Yes, protect and serve. How much? They will lay down their lives to protect people they don't even know. And it has to happen way too often. That is called courage. That is called sacrifice. Today, we are at a crossroads, and it's great to see so many people here today. That thin blue line that separates good from evil is strained to the breaking point right now as we see it. And I want to emphasize, not by those who feel they have a grievance and peacefully protest, because those folks are our neighbors, but it's those who are hell-bent on anarchy and could care less about society. We can and we will win these street battles that we see unfolding daily. All we need is resolve. But we have that resolve. It's within the ranks. It's within the blue ranks. We all have that as cops. What we need is resolve from the political leaders and elected officials. As an elected official, I will tell you this, it is sickening when I see some officials smile, pat you on the back, and then go off to places like Albany and Washington, D.C., and compromise your well-being, your livelihood, your family, your future, and yes, your lives. That's what they do. The time has come to call them all out. The time has come for all of them to come out of it behind a shroud of political opportunism. Let's all demand from each of our elected officials unequivocal and unyielding support in words, actions, and deed. I don't see all elected officials here. I have not seen them in Suffern. We need to make understanding to them that that is not acceptable, not to be here when the constituents are here demonstrating their concern. Let us never forget how this family, this blue family, came together to support each other today, just as they did recently in Suffern. This is a big extended family. Let's always act like it, live like it, and most importantly, vote like it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly how we will turn the tide. We will take back that pride that should be given to every police officer who puts a uniform on. God bless the United States of America. God bless all of you. And let's be safe out there. Thank you.
It's always very hard following County Executive Ed. He really knows how to get the crowd going. I have to bring it down a little bit, though. I really have to urge everyone to put on masks. We have them up here if you don't have them. We do not want a spike, and we do not want the governor coming back and saying it was because of this rally. So please, put on your mask. It would help us all out. So I want to start by thanking the organizers for hosting this and for asking me to speak. And it's fitting because, as you heard, today actually marks the anniversary of the death of two Orangetown officers, Michael Reedy and Thomas Kennedy. They were killed in the line of duty. They were at an accident scene, and they were run down by a drunk driver. So please keep their families in your thoughts and prayers today. But this is also personal for me because my dad was an NYPD, on the NYPD for 26 years, and he retired in 1975. I still remember the sound when he came home late at night, and he used to take the bullets out of his gun and put it in a little container that made noise. And as a little girl, that was the best sound I could hear because I knew my dad was home safe and sound. So this is really personal to me because it's the men like my dad and Officers Kenny and Reedy that we're here today. We are having violence against police officers just because they are police officers. Anyone who knows my dad knows that he is an honest, just man, and he's out to do what's right for the people at all times. So, give me 30 seconds here. So we know there are bad cops. We know that, but these men and women should not be paying the price of a bad cop. We know there's bad lawyers. We know there's bad doctors. We know there's bad politicians. And they don't deserve the all-out attack on them. And it's really an injustice to the officers that are out there putting themselves in harm's way so I can sleep at night. It's not fair, it's not right, and it's something that we all need to stand up and say, we expect better. So I stand here proudly today to say that I support law enforcement. I always have and I always will. But I have to especially thank Orangetown Police Department. They're doing a fantastic job. I see what they're doing. I want them to know that I will always support them, and I thank them, and just keep up the good work. Thank you.
Now we're going to get to our next speaker, Deputy Town Supervisor Michael Lawler.
Before I begin, I just want to recognize two other elected officials who showed up. Clarkstown Town Supervisor George Holman and Stony Point Town Supervisor Jim Monahan. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Rockland County, for showing up today to back the blue. I want to begin by saying thank you to the men and women in law enforcement who put their lives on the line every day. You answer the call with courage, honor, and respect for the communities you serve. I'm proud to call many of you my friends, and even prouder to call some of you my family. So let today's event serve as a reminder to each and every one of you and your families that we are grateful for your service and will always have your backs. President Reagan once said, "We must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore the American precept that each individual is accountable for his actions." Folks, we all agree what happened to George Floyd was a horrible injustice that never should have happened, and is rightly being dealt with by the justice system, where due process can be afforded and the truth can be adjudicated. However, as a society, we cannot allow this incident to be reflective or representative of law enforcement and their relationship with communities of color throughout our country. In the same way, we cannot allow the conduct of one individual to define an entire group of people. If we are to truly stop incidents of racism, discrimination, bigotry, or hatred, then we must get to a point where we truly judge people based on the content of their character and their individual conduct, not the color of their skin or the uniform they wear. As Americans, we have a moral obligation to stand up for the rule of law and fight to ensure justice and equality for all Americans. And the simple truth is that is what you, as police officers, do every day. The recent rise in crime in New York City is a direct result of the disastrous policies being implemented by state and local officials, period. Non-enforcement of petty crimes, shutting down of Rikers Island, cashless bail for nonviolent criminals, parole for unrepentant cop killers and child sex offenders. Is it any wonder why New York is becoming less safe? For too long, the politicians in Albany and New York City have covered up their failed policies on education, housing, poverty, homelessness, drug addiction, and mental health by passing on those responsibilities to law enforcement and then throwing police officers under the bus at the first sign of controversy. It ends today. Defund the police? Get real. We should be voting out and defunding politicians like Ellen Jaffe, who have created this mess in the first place. So to all the woke, weak-kneed politicians who have caved to the demands of activists and put politics before the safety of all New Yorkers, I say to you today, you are responsible for this breakdown in our country, not law enforcement. You have made the laws, you have set the policies, you have voted to defund the police. In doing so, you have made crime acceptable, and you have made our city and our state less safe, not more. And you have hurt hundreds of innocent black lives who have been victim of this recent rise in crime by allowing these shootings and riots to continue. How many more one-year-old black babies need to be shot and killed at a family picnic before you wake up and let the police do their damn jobs? Enough is enough. Get a backbone and stand up for the rule of law. And yes, Bill de Blasio, I'm talking to you. My name is Mike Lawler, and I'm running for the State Assembly to be your voice in Albany and to restore common sense and balance to state government. I'm honored to be endorsed by former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, and on November 3rd, I'd be honored to have your vote, so that together we can keep our community safe and ensure justice and equality for all New Yorkers. Thank you, God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
AI now, our next speaker is Barry Fixler, United States Marine Corps combat veteran, Vietnam campaign. I give you Barry Fixler.
I love America. I love Rockland County. Every country in the world is jealous of us. We have the greatest country in the world. I'm the author of Semper Cool. Semper Cool, I wrote this book to honor all the veterans that I served with and all the veterans that are that's protecting our country today. The 3 Marines here represent what I went through. I went through just about a year training before we went into combat. After very close to a year training, all of us were Green Marines, only 18 and 19 years old. Before we stepped foot in a combat zone, we were told 1/3 of us in the next year or two are going to be dead. 1/3 of us are going to have our legs blown off. And only 1/3 of us are going to make it back to the States whole. That's reality. That's war. That's protecting this country. Fast forward to Afghanistan. This young Marine over here, his name is Matis Ferraro. Matis Ferraro was born in Uruguay. He came to this country at the age of 6. He's seen at the age of 6 how great this country is, America is, and he said, I want to become a police officer. That was his dream, to become a police officer. However, he became a teenager, and his next dream was to become a Marine. In 2011, he was deployed to Afghanistan. Unfortunately, this Marine stepped on a live landmine, an explosive, flew both of his legs off below his knees. There goes his dream. It took him years to recover, rehabilitation, but he still had a dream of being a police officer. He got wounded in 2011. By 2017, he wouldn't let go. This is America. This is the greatest country in the world. He wouldn't let it go. I want to be a police officer. So he trained and trained and trained. In 2017, he went into the academy, Suffern County Academy. Trained there for 7 months with titanium legs, artificial legs. In 2017, Matas Ferrara became the first police officer with artificial legs in Suffolk County. There's a picture of him graduating. This picture, 7 months, they made him the class president, and it's a great honor. Here he is in his police uniform, saluting his captain in the Marine Corps. That's a great, great honor. Today, he's on patrol with his titanium legs, and this is how he looks on his motorcycle. Only in America, the dreams come true. Very inspirational and very impressive. I'd like to end by saying we've got the greatest country in this world. I have to love Rockland County, and I say God bless everybody. Thank you.
The line goes. I want to introduce you, as I said, Chief Brian Gurney. Thank you, sir.
Thank Mike and the Steve for inviting me today. Real quick, just a little bit about myself. I've been a police officer for 39 years and chief of police for 18. So some of you guys might question my sanity that I've stayed as long as I have. I also know that on events like this, that brevity is the word of the day, so I will try to be brief. Just real quick, I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy, the 199 session. I am a past president of the Bergen County Police Chiefs Association, and I hold a master's degree from Fairleigh Dickinson University in Public Administration. As we know, and what we've heard for our entire careers, is that policing is a profession. And when I first started, it really wasn't, because there weren't a lot of credentials that you needed to become a police officer. You just really had to have clear of a criminal record, you had to have a driver's license, you had to be over 18 years old. But now that's not the case. Most police officers are educated. There's an educational component in almost every hiring process, and most police officers have undergraduate degrees or advanced degrees. With that said, we all know what happened out in Minneapolis, and we don't have to reiterate that. As a police chief, you have to understand politics, but you cannot be political, and I'm not going to be political, but I think that everybody knows here, particularly the police officers that are here, that nobody hates bad cops more than good cops. And we have to maintain our professionalism. That's important. When we serve our communities and we do our jobs, we have to maintain our professionalism. And through that, we have to be able to identify when other officers may be doing things that they shouldn't be doing, particularly in the area of excessive force. Very simply, when we come onto the job, we all put our hand on a Bible and we swear an oath. We swear an oath to uphold the law. And the oath of honor provides the law enforcement professional with a concise, powerful, universal process by which officers can affirm and periodically reaffirm their ethical values. Now, I'm also a member of the International Association of Chiefs of Police. And we have chiefs of police come from all over the world, from Africa, from Ireland, from Europe, from Eastern Europe countries. And at our first General Assembly, we get in there, there's thousands of police officers, thousands of police chiefs, and they reaffirm their oath. In which, when I first sat in on one of these assemblies, it was really very, very touching moment to me. So I'm going to ask if all law enforcement officers that want to reaffirm their oath, I'd like to read it. Raise your right hand. Anybody else that wants to add in, please do it. So I'm going to raise my right hand, and it'll start. On my honor, I will never betray my integrity, my character, or the public trust. I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions. I will always maintain the highest ethical standards and uphold the values of my community and the agency I serve. Again. So I want to thank you all for inviting me here today. It was really truly an honor. My parting words would be, this is the silent majority that we're not seeing around the country. It's people like you that come out and support us. And I just want to thank you very much for giving me the time. All my police officer brothers and sisters, please maintain safe. It's going to get better, I promise you. Thank you.
Welcome, Bill Weber.
Good morning, Pearl River. So I'm Bill Weber. I'm running for New York State Senate. Covers Rockland and parts of Westchester. I'm a hometown boy here in Pearl River. Grew up here. Still have family here. My father is here in the audience. He was a 20-year retired police officer from New York City. My brother Carl, 26-year veteran of New York City, just retired last year. My brother Kevin is an 11-year on the job, still in New York City Police. And my grandfather was a police officer from the 1930s to the 1950s. As Teresa Kenny said, and some of the other speakers said before me, we know what it's like to have family members in the police department waiting for them to come home, scared that they're not going to come home, and relieved when we hear them come home. Because there are family members, there are neighbors, there are friends, they're part of our community. As the other speaker said, they're on the PTA, they're involved everywhere. We need to support our police. As an elected official, as Ed Day said, we need elected officials in Albany, like myself, like Mike Lawler, like Maureen, and like other speakers who will not say one thing at events like this and vote other ways up in Albany. There needs to be consistency. I will bring you that consistency. You hear code words now, defunding the police, right? Defund the police. Think about where we are as a society when we say defund the police. We say, let's take away guns from our law-abiding citizens. We say, no bail for lawbreakers. What do they want us to do? Fend for ourselves on the streets? Is that what it's going to come down to? Because that's what you have right now in places like Portland, Oregon, and Seattle, and Chicago, where you have elected officials not supporting their police departments, holding them back, and allowing riots in the streets. We cannot, as a society, allow that. We need the silent majority, which I know is out there, and it's represented here today and in Suffern last week or 2 weeks ago. It starts now. It starts with the silent majority coming out and say, we've had enough. We've had enough because these are our friends and our neighbors and our brothers and sisters. Just a few short years ago, 9/11 happened, and we know in Rockland County there was a lot of law enforcement officials who died protecting our nation, protecting and down there during the cleanup, and down there during the buildings coming down. You know, they ran up the buildings just like the firemen did. We've come a long way since then to having the utmost respect for law enforcement, and now we see what we see on TV right now, which is a tragedy. We need to continue to support our law enforcement. As an elected official in Albany, I will be that person, and I will represent this community and all communities fairly, equally.
That's why I keep it on that.
Again, I want to thank you. My name is Bill Weber, and I'm a proud supporter of the police department and the police here in Rockland. and I will never let them down. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Weber. Our last, and I feel very special speaker, Lauren Marie Wall, a wife of an NYPD officer. Her perspective. I welcome Ms. Wall.
Good afternoon. I'm Laura Marie Wool. I want to thank the organizers for letting me speak today. It means a lot. Being part of a Blue family, I wanted to speak up and speak out, and not only support of my husband, for all the law enforcement and their families across the nation. I wasn't sure how to articulate my thoughts, but I just knew, I felt I had to say something. Let me start by saying I am the proud wife of an active NYPD officer who has 20 years on the job. I am the wife who waits up at night waiting for a phone call or a text from her husband to make sure he's okay. I am the wife who sheds her silent tears after she receives the call from him. I'm okay, it wasn't me. I'm hoping and praying the officer that was shot is okay too. I am the mother of 3 children who see the news and ask why people hate the police. Is Daddy in danger? When is Daddy coming home? I am the daughter-in-law of the mother and father that worry for their son's safety. I am the shoulder to cry on when 9/11 comes around, as my husband still grieves from being down on the pile in New York City. How quickly people have forgotten the first responders in 9/11. I am the wife of a man who sometimes comes home in silence because his day and what he dealt with was too horrific to talk about. I am the Leo wife that proudly wears this badge around my neck every single day to keep him close to my heart and to God. What is transpiring in this nation against police is disgusting, and they need our support more so now than ever. And don't ever let someone tell you there is something wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with supporting the police. Not only are the police being physically attacked in the streets by people, but they are being attacked by the politicians that voted to repeal 50A, create insane bail reforms, and defund them. As I stand here before you today, I recognize we may have a million differences of opinions. However, we are all here for the same reason, and that is to back the blue. We will not and cannot allow the bad apples in a bunch generalize the entire police force for all the good they do for the people. I will leave you with this. These great men and women who took an oath to serve and protect the people don't get to pick and choose who they help. When that call comes over the radio from Central, they respond and not only do their job, they are the job. Flags up, Blue Strong. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Wall. That's a hard act to follow. Okay. I'd like to do the calling of the roll.
Why not?
Constable John Cahill, Village of Haverstraw. Detective William F. Clark, Clarksdale Police Department. Police Officer Francis J. Denoto, New York State Park Police. Chief William J. Thornhill, Suffern Police Department. Chief Edward R. Gleason Jr., Palisades Interstate Park Police. Sergeant Edward O'Grady Jr., Orangetown Police Department. P.O. Chipper Waverly L. Brown, Nyack Police Department. Police Officer Michael J. Reedy, Orangetown PD, and P.O.J. Kennedy, Orangetown Police Department. You know, it's funny. I went up to the memorial and to get these names. And I said to myself, let me get this right. I'm looking, and I see August 2nd on the wall. I says, this is ironic. We're having our rally this day. Well, I'm not going to go into any more of what these men did and sacrificed, and if their families are here, I thank you for that. The town supervisor, county supervisor, or vice versa, pretty much hit it on the head. So I'm not going to go into the details. They were pretty much accurate. In closing, to all the families of fallen officers, our thoughts are with you. We as a community appreciate and support you. In closing, law enforcement officers choose a career to protect and serve the community. We all know this is not a career without significant risks, and certainly not a 9-to-5 job. Law enforcement officers, stand proud. Do what you do best. We appreciate, support both law enforcement officers, and most importantly, their families. I thank you. Now we will hear the God Bless America.
Please join me. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, Ms. Weber.
Tomorrow things were gone. I worked for all my life, and I had to start again. Just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today. 'Cause the flags
Are you with the New York Times?
No.
Wait a minute. John and Kai, get over here. Maybe I hung up the phone with you.
Hey, how you doing? Good, good, good. Hey, what's up, Jeff? How you doing?